So what we are talking about is very serious stuff. It's something that we should be aware of. When you lay that patient back in the dental chair, that tongue goes back there, they're not scaredy cats. They're choking and they don't know it, but it's not the same. Their blood pressure's up, their pulse may be up, or vice versa, or both, and it's the adrenaline. They're just trying to in the fight or flight. So now we're looking at the baseline for Jim, and we're going to talk about later in a more advanced course. There's other settings that we need, so I'm going to change it to the waveform for lead 2, and basically that little arrow up here is now our designations for Roman numeral 2. And just ignore it. Jim just had a cardiac arrest, and we'll try to get this off camera. But it's just resetting. It will go away. Come on, Jim. All right, stick it back in.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll go to lead 1 just to make sure he's. All right. So that's lead 2. We'll go back to lead 1. Get this back up. There we go. So that looks good. So you can check your instrumentation, and we'll go back to the lead 2 and see why that was squawking so much. Lead 1's nice, lead 2's not nice. Alright, let's go back to lead 1 and cut it off just a minute and see. It's 25 per second, that's good. Pulse is low. Get rid of this and get. So. Lead 2 is, we're going to discuss that later with Nurse Renee, and there are some things about these waves that could improve. There's called a dichrotic notch in the length of this out, and the ripples on this line. And the good news is all of that's affected by what we put in his mouth or don't put in his mouth, or what he doesn't have, or what he does have. What he has is some broken down teeth, and some are going to need to be extracted, but we want to get everything where he was before we started rearranging the furniture. So basically his pulse is 60, his oxygen's 95, and all these values go up and down as you're taking them. It's not just one static number. It's you can take them in real time, and this will change. If the patient moves like he just did, you're going to get some really funny looking stuff up here. Now, some of you use this all the time.
Go ahead, move again.
Move your hand again. See how it gets all out of kilter? Now, when a patient has a shift, when you put something in, and all of a sudden you see all that scrambling, we've got that captured for you, and we'll explain that. That is a positive rather than a negative usually. So I would say you're going to need to look at vitals, but you don't necessarily have to have a sophisticated piece of equipment if you're not taking blood pressures on every occasion before and after, and pulse and oxygen. Well, that's a good place to start. That makes it safer, and you have documentation that the patient was probably better before you seeing it. And if you're doing general dentistry and you put a crown in, it'd be nice to pip that baby up and see if it's blocking the tongue or in the wrong contours. And checking your work. Partials, dentures, we've done that in the past, but we've never done it connecting it to the rest of the body. It's just there's going to be a sore spot. Now we're in the game as far as looking after the patient, doing it safer and more fruit for the patient and for you. So right now it fluctuates between 50, 51, and it's gone up to 96, and it'll go back down a little bit and it'll go back up. And so you see a range more than just one number. But did you take your meds today? Mm-hmm. Good. And you take it at home any particular time?
Usually 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night.
Good. So he's being responsible and taking meds, and I told him if we put an appliance in and those numbers start changing, which we usually see an effect on the blood pressure and the oxygen in the pulse, he's to share that, and with his doctor and with me, and not let the effect of the appliance be so great that the medications haven't been regulated by his doctor. A lot of time they give them permission to cut their dose a little bit as they start seeing those numbers disappear. But I never do it myself, even on a CPAP. That's by prescription, and the doctor has recommended it. So Jim has a CPAP. I'm not going to tell him to try the appliance. I'll make him a nighttime appliance for daytime, because nobody's covering him during daytime. If he's at work and takes a nap, then he's just without something. If he's got his other appliance that we make him for night during the day, he can test it out. We had one Boy Scout leader that was on restriction by his doctor for no dental appliances, and he wanted to go camping, and they don't have an electric plug where those guys go camping. So he got permission from his doctor to at least get an appliance, and then they would test it. That's the right thing to do before he goes trying to see if he's going to have a cardiovascular accident or something. So sure enough, he tested him before. He had 125 apneic events per hour, and I didn't get the figures for. They were using an AutoPAP, I think. He really had some serious apneic events, and that's why he was on restriction, no dental appliances. But he begged him. He said, "I'm a Boy Scout leader. At least I want to go camping." So with the appliance that we put in, a half of an apneic event in an hour. He took him off the AutoPAP and just had him continue to use the dental appliance. So this is unbelievably powerful. What we're doing is, this is on lead 2, and when you're working with Renee, she's going to want to see lead 2, that little number up there, and then there's a way to change it. On this machine, it quickly converts over. And again, I think I was talking to you, this is evidence, tape, good documentation of before you touch the patient, what they've got, and the effect of what you did on their health and well-being. So we're going to now do lead 1. Looks a little different. It's as the tongue is coming in the mouth. Lead 2 is when the tongue gets past entrance into the anterior, towards the anterior.